Okay, this video is art quotes. It's from this book, The Holy Grail of Wisdom Quotes by me, Pete Rogers. We're going to do, we're in the letter A, so Matthew Arnold, and we'll do part one of art quotes. So the first quote is about education by Thomas Armstrong. He says, "The child emerges into literacy by actively speaking, reading, and writing in the context of real life, not by memorizing lists of vocabulary words." And so that's relevant that, if you want to teach a kid how to learn, you just make it fun. Learning to read should be enjoyable. And we should also learn foreign languages the way we learn English, read something that's fun. Like, I think bilingual fairy tales are a great way to go for learning a foreign language. The school method, of course, is stupid. They emphasize grammar. Nobody learns their native language with grammar. Okay, next we'll do Matthew Arnold. He lived from 1822 to 1888, an English guy, and he had a few good things to say literally, but he is sort of a weasel. He was atheist, and basically atheists, they always, end up being lightweights, almost always, pretty much always in creative literature, because if you don't have this big view of life, how are you going to say anything that's interesting, useful, and meaningful and new to people? So Matthew Arnold's first quote, "Culture is to know the best that has been said and thought in the world. The strongest part of our religion today is its unconscious poetry." Oh, one point I would make about that quote is a lot of the best language and statements, they have a religious feel to them. Poetry is simply the most beautiful, impressive, and widely effective mode of saying things, and hence its importance. Style is a recasting and a heightening under a condition of spiritual excitement, what a man has to say to add distinction. Have something to say and say it as clearly as you can. That is the only secret of style. I would completely disagree with that. I mean, there's a lot of ways to have style in what you say. You can introduce rhetoric. You can introduce, metaphor. You can introduce, a religious tone. There's a lot of things you can do with style besides just say it clearly. To just say it clearly is good in some contexts, but there's a lot more you could do. Anyways, Matthew Arnold says, "The Celts certainly have a style in wonderful measure. The power of the Latin classic is in its character. That of the Greek is in its beauty. Character is capable of being taught, learnt, and assimilated, but beauty hardly." Yeah, real style is in large part also the author's personality, and that's hard to teach. I would actually think one of the best things a person can do if they want to develop writing style is watch comedians. Be fun. Comedians, the good ones, are real entertaining. And if you want to be an entertaining writer, study people who are entertaining. Matthew Arnold, "The whole point of culture is to make a rational being more rational." Okay, Stephen Ahrens, "Why is it that millions of children who are push-outs or dropouts amount to business as usual in the public schools, while one family educating a child at home becomes a major threat to universal public education and the survival of democracy?" I think the purpose of public schools, amongst others, is to turn people into minimum wage lightweights and to make them atheists, to go against their parents' values, because all of these things, and it's not the teachers, a lot of the teachers are very good, it's the system itself. The teachers, a lot of them very much like the kids and do the best they can for the kids, but it's kind of like doctors mean the best for their patients, but the system itself doesn't care about the patients. And same thing in the public school. Also, it's to make them easy to control. If you spend all your time doing nonsense, memorizing lists of vocabulary words that you're going to forget, that's a waste of time. That makes you stupid. Versus, I think they're afraid of homeschoolers, because a homeschooler could really learn the Bible, could really learn about the ancient Greeks and Romans, and have this powerful knowledge that it makes them difficult to trick. The average American who's been to the public schools is very easy to trick. Okay, to deceive them. But somebody who's read the Bible, knows the ancient Greeks or ancient Romans, you're not going to fool them so easy. So I think that's the reason why they won't let kids homeschool so much. Okay, we'll do a couple of art quotes. So the first one, Kurt Vonnegut, "The primary benefit of practicing any art, whether well or badly, is that it enables one's soul to grow." Okay, Michael Chabon, "Every work of art is half of a secret handshake, a challenge that seeks the password, a heliograph flashed from a tower window, an act of hopeless optimism in the service of bottomless longing." So yeah, if you didn't have some optimism, you wouldn't even try, okay? Like, I made a book about Christian art, even though I know I have no way to market it because I think it's the best one, and I hope some people find it. So I haven't given up that America could be saved from its seemingly inevitable fate of returning to slavery, but I'll try. I'll do the best I can. I have a little bit of hope and optimism. Ezra Pound, artists are the antenna of the race. Okay, Aristotle quote on art. The aim of art is to represent not the outward appearance of things, but their inward significance. Okay, Oscar Wilde, art is the most intense form of individualism the world has ever known. Beverly Sills, the opera singer, art is the signature of civilizations. And that's a pretty big quote. Art is the signature of civilizations. And what that's basically saying is, you look at the Renaissance, you say these people were magnificent. You look at the Victorian Renaissance and the Catholic Revival in England, you say this was magnificent. You look at modern art in America, and you see that in a museum, somebody from another time, they would say these people stink. They are disgusting. They are evil. They are barbarians. Modern art is an incredible insult, and if you don't agree with it, that means you're a stupid idiot, chump, or a liar. It's a disgrace. A child could make it. And it's very important that people say that, because if you can't save that, they make statues of feces in these modern art museums. That's an insult, and people should say it, because if you don't have a high threshold for what you consider good and acceptable, you will be given that kind of garbage. Okay, Vincent van Gogh, I only feel alive when I'm painting. All right, now here's a couple quotes by Steve Wozniak, the great computer inventor, the guy who invented the Apple computer. He said, creative things have to sell to get acknowledged as such. So yeah, you can make something great. If nobody knows about it, it never gets any credit. A lot of my life. He continues, most inventors and engineers I've met are like me. They're shy and they live in their heads. The best of them are artists, and artists work alone. Imagination is something you do alone. I don't believe anything really revolutionary has ever been invented by a committee. I'm going to give you some advice that might be hard to take, and that advice is work alone, not on a committee, not on a team. Okay, Steve Wozniak. All right, and that's it for today on art quotes. That'll be part 1 of art quotes.